Madam Speaker, I rise to support the passage of this bill before this honourable House. I believe that it is prime time for us as a federation to take this step in terms of passing a plastic waste reduction bill 2025. In our thrust to become a sustainable island state, the passage of this bill is crucial to ensure that we are, of course, better able to manage our waste and, of course, to necessarily preserve our marine and land environment. And we've heard all of the reasons going around. But I just want to, I thought, as Minister responsible for youth empowerment, and of course as the youngest member of this honourable House at this point in time, I wanted to make sure that I'm listed on record supporting this bill because it is an investment in the future sustainability of mine and future generations. So I want to, of course, commend all of those who were involved in getting us to this point. Not only the mover of the bill here today and the member from number 10 for their leadership as ministers of environment, but also for the senior management and staff in the Ministry of Environment, Climate Action and Constituency Empowerment, who are all here in the gallery to see their work come to fruition. I don't really intend to repeat all of the reasons why this is necessary at this time, because I think we've heard it from the medical standpoint, from the environmental and marine standpoint, from the economic and tourism standpoint. But I do want to reiterate and make a point that, while this plastic ban and this legislation will ensure that we don't add more plastic to the environment, as the mover would have highlighted and the images would have shown, there is still currently a very vast amount of plastic currently on our land, along our coastlines, and in our oceans. And this legislation will certainly force us as a society to use less plastics, and that is the intention, so that we reduce in the long term. We heard the member from number 8 mention that we will see it progressively, the impact positively. But in addition, I think there's also a call for us to use less plastics now, and in changing our behavior, we also need to recognize and take very intentional steps to manage the waste and the plastic that we currently have. I want to take this opportunity to really highlight that, there are ongoing efforts, particularly through the Department of Youth Empowerment, that is a keen champion and advocate for environmental sustainability. I believe young people certainly have a very important role to play in moving our sustainable island state agenda forward and supporting the initiatives therein. And so I want to highlight that there are programs and initiatives that we can all take part in and take leadership from in terms of what the Department of Youth Empowerment does in support of the Ministry of Environment, particularly on a bi-monthly and quarterly basis. The Department of Youth Empowerment engages in beach cleanups with other local environmental groups and organizations. We also occasionally join the Department of Marine Resources in their seabed cleanups. That's when they actually dive underneath the water and clean up the seabed. It's a very interesting process. And also in terms of making sure that in our own programmatic approach, we are sustainable. Our youth camp in the past 2 years has really sought to ensure that we use less plastics by providing our campers with reusable bottles. That is often supported and encouraged by the Department of Youth and of Environment. And so, Madam Speaker, as a matter of fact, today, as we have actually been sitting here in this honourable House, a beach cleanup is actually ongoing at the Connery Beach. And this is, an initiative that's actually being led as part of the Commonwealth Clean Oceans Plastic Campaign, which is actually visiting all the Commonwealth countries as part of the Commonwealth Baton Relay that I believe, we would have seen the Governor General participate in and initiate here for us in St. Kitts and Nevis. And the goal of this Commonwealth Clean Oceans Plastic Campaign is to prevent 1 million pieces of plastic from entering Commonwealth waterways before the start of the Commonwealth Games to be held in Glasgow 2026. And so for us here in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Caribbean Youth Environment Network is the leading organization that reached out to the Department of Youth Empowerment, since this is often the network that we partner with for our beach cleanups regularly. And we reached out to our networks to encourage more persons. So we have presently today participating in this beach cleanup the Ripple Institute, SKN, the St. Kitts Nevis Association of Persons with Disabilities, as well as some students from the Seventh-day Adventist School, who we were able to also garner some support from. And so I want to recognize this initiative and highlight, initiatives like beach cleanups, environmental cleanups, as things that we have to do. A call to action for us to do right now to manage the plastics that is already in our environments. As the government takes a step to ensure that we reduce waste in the future term, there are things that we can do now as individuals, as a collective, to ensure that we better manage the waste that we have currently on island. And so, Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I wish this Plastic Waste Reduction Bill 2025 very successful passage to stop more plastic from being added to our small island states. And I want us all to recognize that there are very clear intentional actions that we can and we must all take to better manage the vast amounts of plastic that is already existing on our small islands. So let's all get on board to the recycling initiatives that are taking place on Nevis and on St. Kitts. Stop littering. Just stop littering. Just stop littering. Let us also seek to organize and participate in beach cleanups and environmental cleanups in our local communities, on all of our coastlines and our beaches. And let's take part in the global efforts to making St. Kitts and Nevis a more sustainable island state. May it please you, Madam Speaker.